Hey, welcome back. Today I want to talk about my quarter 3 roundup and what I think I'm going to be doing for quarter 4 of 2022. I have done a video the last couple quarters talking about what my plan is for the upcoming quarter, but I thought I would switch it up today and talk about what I used this quarter because I think this has been my craziest quarter yet, and I am already thinking of 2023, so quarter 4 is probably going to be just as crazy. My initial plan for quarter 3 was to stick with the traveler's notebook as a passport bullet journal and a standard size journal. This combo has actually worked out for me for most of the year, and even though I feel like I've been bouncing around like crazy, I have actually been pretty consistent with this middle stack here. I have bullet journaled, I think, in a passport every day since March of 2022, so I've been in here for a while. This is my 3rd quarter insert that I've been using. I'll just kind of do a quick little brief flip through. I will probably get a few weeks of October in here before I run out of pages and need to set up like a 4th quarterly insert, but this setup has been working out really well. I can link up in the cards what my bullet journal looks like, but my planner is split into 2 books. I've got an annual insert here for all my year-long habit tracking and collections, and then each quarter roughly I have a new insert back here for weekly spreads, daily logs, short terms, lists, and notes, and my inserts are from GoodInkPressions. So I did stick with this more or less for the majority of quarter 3, but I ended up setting up a pocket bullet journal, and it really did kind of steal my heart for a while. This is the Leuchtturm 1917 A6 dot grid notebook or pocket size bullet journal. It's kind of an odd size. I have the hardcover in the black, and this has been probably the thing I'm reaching for the most. This is where I've been the most productive from a planning perspective. Really enjoyed how simple this notebook is. I'm still reaching for it on a daily basis. Honestly, I grab both of these 2 in the morning and I just roll with it because my brain is like, I miss the outsides of the passport, but I really prefer the simplicity of the insides of just a dot grid notebook. I really like that this lays flat too. That's kind of the main thing. The paper I do quite like. I'm really liking the cream paper. I think if I stick with traveler's notebooks as a passport size bullet journal for 2023, I'm going to get cream Tomoe River paper instead of the white because the cream just holds up so much better, and I'm someone who flips through their planners like hundreds of times a day, so the paper gets to look really dirty on the white Tomoe River paper. So that's something that I'm thinking about for next year. But this has been really great. I could see myself sticking with this through the end of quarter 4. I'm not sure I'll get the full year in here. I marked out how many pages I would allocate per month to get 6 months in here, and wasn't gonna hit that, and then I was like, okay, well, just 5 months, and now I'm thinking I'm not gonna hit that either because I have 3 pages left before I need to be setting up October, and it's only the 17th of September, so I'm just not quite sure. I would go through 4 of these for sure. I was hoping it would only be 3 a year, but it's definitely going to be 4 if I stuck with this. But overall, I would say I'm really enjoying this over my passport size because it is easier to use. The paper is less fussy. It still handles my fountain pen pretty well, but I don't need to use like blotting paper, for example. I can just turn the page for the most part and go with minimal transfer. I like the cream. I like that it lays flat. I like that it's a hardcover. It's so much easier for me to write in on the go compared to the passport size. I mean, this is still really doable. I've been in it for most of the year. I've made it work, but this is just so much less fussy. The major downsides to this though is, 1, I love the accessories and the products from Travelers Company. They are so dang cute, and I just love how they feel in hand. I love how they look. And this setup technically works a little bit better for me on paper because I have an annual insert, so I've got the full years of important information with me at all times. Where in here, this is a bullet journal, so every 4 to 5 months, I'm setting up completely fresh, and I either need to transfer all that information, make sure the information I need annually is digital, so I have it with me. I could do a little notebook in the back, but I'm typically that doesn't really interest me just for ease of use. I think it would bulk up that back pocket a bit too much. So pros and cons with both systems, but I really enjoyed this side tangent. Part of me thinks that I want to continue Q4 in Passport because then I would have most of the year in one system, so it'll be easier to archive all of this at the end of the year. But I don't know, it's kind of the battle between these two to see out 2022, and there's a new contender back in the ring that we'll talk about here in a second. So these are the two planners that I used for Q3 and likely will continue to pick up for Q4, but I'll talk about Q4 here in a second. So the other change that I made in Q3, I had set out saying, hey, I'm going to continue with this as my memory keeper and journal. I picked up the dated version of the vertical spread from Travelers Company and use this for, memory keeping. I fill this out at the end of each day, just, highlights what happened, big events, pull out stickers, get creative. I've got my almost daily journal insert where I just write about anything and everything. This is sort of like Dear Diary thoughts to vision journaling, creative writing, just sort of whatever I need. I put down a lot of, stickers and bits that I get throughout the week to, kind of remember those types of things. And I like this because I can use my fountain pen. This insert is from GoodInkPressions. And then in the back, I have sort of like my travel journal for, weekends and, quick trips and things like that I've got in the back there. This is the olive cover, by the way, from Travelers Company, if you were curious. I had an inkling at one point because as I was trying to decide which planner to use, I thought that these two stacked together were mighty cute. So I ended up setting up a passport size journal and really like this. There are some limitations as well. The setup is pretty much identical. I've got my mini moments, sort of like tiny travel journal, which is really cute, easy to keep up with, like that. A GoodInkPressions, almost daily journal for sketching, putting in pictures, writing about, same things that I mentioned earlier. And then I have a DIY vertical insert back here. I just drew in the lines with pencil, and I do my memory keeping back here as well. I've got some stamps. I need to actually date this if I'm gonna stick with it, but a little bit more cumbersome. I actually would have to draw in all the weeklies if I did want to stick with this, but this is so dang cute because it's tiny and adorable. In general, I would say I think I'm more drawn to the passport size for journaling, but what I am realizing is when I do this sort of like mini moments travel journal, if I want to put in any photos, there's almost no room for writing like I would like to about events and things like that. And compared to the standard size, I think the standard size practically is just going to make a little bit more sense for keeping track of everything long term. And sometimes I wish I had a little bit more space when I was journaling. And in the vertical insert, I really prefer having the pre-dated setup insert with the Midori MD paper. It's beautiful. It's lovely to write on, and I have some beautiful covers as well. But I've found I'm way more consistent with the tiny passport size compared to the standard. So I don't know. This could be a big contender again for 2023. I love how tiny this combo is. I can make it work if there's not a lot of room for memory keeping, a lot of things, but I could just start dedicating 2-page spread versus a 1-page spread. There's definitely ways around it. I just have to keep more inserts at the end of the year, but they're pretty easy to store, the passport sizes. So in general, this is kind of my main combo for Q3, but I honestly am reaching for all 4 of these things and kind of just cycling around. So let's start talking about Q4 though, because I find Q4, it's the beginning of, we're all thinking of 2023, and if I think I have found a system that's going to work best for 2023, my mind immediately is like, let's move in today, right? If it's better than what you're doing, let's start that. And what I've been considering for 2023 is moving back into Hobonichi Weeks Mega as my main planner and hybrid bullet journal, and journaling in a standard size traveler's notebook. So this is my potential stack for next year, which means that I have been painstakingly making sure that this is up to date, backfilling it, putting in spreads and things like that, because I honestly have not touched this for about 2 months. I think the last spread I had organically done here was sometime in July. I think it was like this spread or this, yeah, it was this spread. This is the last page that I remember doing, and then I've been just sort of backfilling this whenever I get bored, replicating the spreads that I've set up in my other 2 planners. The reason I'm thinking about this is because when I sat down and realized that what I'm doing in my passport and pocket bullet journal really is just a replication of this, and when I think about, you know, what I'm looking for in a planner, this really does tick off all the boxes. I'm looking for portable, fountain pen friendly, small grid size, bonus points for a full year in one place, easy to write in without a desk. It really does do it all for me from what I need for a planning perspective. Monthlies, horizontal weeklies, room for daily spreads, collections, bullet journal type of stuff, work notebook in the back. It really does check it all off. But for some reason this year, I've just not been feeling this notebook. I don't know, we're just not clicking. So I'm trying some different types of spreads, like I'm forgoing my delineating line that I typically go through, just trying to be a little bit more relaxed with how I use the weeklies, thinking that maybe that's the reason I haven't been really feeling it. Right now I'm struggling because my habit trackers in here are just an absolute mess because I haven't actually touched them. So I did just decide to kind of set up some fresh habit trackers back here to see if that will help me kind of move into it a little bit more smoothly. I know if I set up a brand new weeks for 2023, I will love it and probably be very happy moving back into it, but right now I'm just not quite sure. So this will be, you know, in the running for Q4. I'm sure I will continue to pick it up. I really like this week's weekly so far. I think it looks pretty dang cute, like how that's coming together. So yeah, we'll see where I land, but this is a contender. And I thought, okay, I really am preferring the passport size, but these 2 stacked together just seems weird to me. This seems more correct. So that's really the only reason I'm leaning towards standard. And then I could use the Midori MD cream inserts for vertical memory keeping, which is kind of my preference for sure. And that takes care of the more room for travel journaling in the standard size and things like that. But at the same time, I'm not excited to reach for the standard size right now, and I'm not excited to reach for my weeks right now. So I'm not sure if that means that this is a lost cause and I should refocus on the tiny planners or not. But anyway, I think for Q4, I'm gonna just continue to cycle through all of this. I have some different type of goals for 2023, travel related, spending related. I think I'm gonna do a low buy year for 2023 when it comes to this hobby. And that's gonna impact my decisions. I have picked up my Hobonichi order already. I did an unboxing of that on my Patreon. If you would like to support me there, there's information down below. But I'm still deciding on what I'm going to use, and I think as I've, you know, normally I would like to say, hey, let me settle in for Q4 and find my planner piece, but I think this year I'm just accepting it's going to be chaos. I'm going to bounce around between all the things, and hopefully there's a clear winner to kick off 2023 with, because I have everything I need here to do this again for next year. So, but I don't want to do this much next year. I'd like to be a little bit more contained. So we'll see where that is and where I land. But I'm thinking realistically, I would love for it to be passport bullet journal again, but I'm pretty sure it's either going to be A6 bullet journal rather, or Hobonichi weeks as my planner. It's probably gonna be one or the other, because I think I've determined that laying flat it's a must for me for 2023. I just don't want to faff about with the clips and stuff like that from a planning perspective. Journaling though, I'll for sure be in a traveler's notebook. It's just which size. I say that now, I will change my mind a million times before New Year rolls around. But let me know if you are switching things up for Q4. Have you already moved into your 2023 system? Are you thinking about moving into it early? Let me know all of that below. If you've made it this long, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.